Alright, much brew about nothing time. Another run with the Legacy version of our Kobold deck. And I think we're going to try this. Let's keep it. This could be turn one hand. And we get to probe. We only have 1/0 drop though. So let's probe. See what our opponent's up to. Force, Spell Pierce, Become Immense, and Inkmoth Nexus. Force is a problem. Well, I mean, let's go for it. See if our opponent counters Glimpse. I expect that they will. They almost have to. They let it go? Alright, well, let's see what we can do then. Our opponent hopefully will end up regretting this. There's a Kobold. There's a Kobold. And the Glimpse triggers whenever we cast a spell. A creature spell. So it doesn't even have to really resolve. So 3 Kobolds. Ornithopter. There's a Glimmer Void, which is nice. Memnite gets us a Lotus Petal. Well, let's Lotus Petal. That resolves. Then Glimmer Void and Signal Pest. See if this resolves. There's the Force. Alright. We do draw a card. A Kobold. Now let's keep going. Cast a Kobold. Draw Probe. Cast the Probe. Become Immense and Inkmoth is what our opponent has. There's a Bushwhacker, but we don't have the mana? Alright. So let's pass the turn. No turn 1 kill. But we got our opponent almost out of action, and we have a Bushwhacker for next turn. There's the Inkmoth. Opponent passes. I mean, we can crop rotate. We don't have the right colors of mana, though, to fuse a Beck Call. If we get one more mana source, we can. Let's just get in with Memnite. And see what we draw next turn. Windswept Heath for our opponent. Cracks it. Gets a Tropical Island. And passes. Alright, let's go for this. Crop rotation. So pay green. Crop rotate. Our opponent really drew another counter. Turns on Inkmoth. Invigorates. I'm so confused. And Flusterstorms. Okay. So crop rotation is countered. Well, there goes that plan. So we go back to getting in for 1. And passing the turn. We were going to be able to fuse a Beck Call, which would have been sweet. We know our opponent only has Become Immense in one other card. Hopefully they don't just draw Berserk. Opponent attacks. Well, we block with Ornithopter. We draw a Kobold. So get in with Memnite. Still a mana away from really doing anything. Oh, if our opponent hadn't drawn that counter. Ponders. If our opponent finds something that gives Inkmoth trample, we could be dead next turn. Opponent chooses to shuffle, so that's a good sign. There's Inkmoth. Opponent attacks. We block with Ornithopter. There's a mana source. Alright, so let's try this again. Glimmer Void. Tap Glimmer Void. Crop rotate. Get a Cradle. Do we try to keep comboing? Problem is we only got 1 red source. We had a bunch of green. If we go blue for Beck, and we don't draw into more mana, and we can't play a land, we need Lotus Petals. If we just Bushwhacker, we hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But then our opponent attacks us and we can't kill them the following turn. Alright. Well, I guess we gotta go for it. Cast Beck. Cast a Kobold. Draw a card. Cast a Kobold. We're gonna need to find more creatures or red mana. There's Lotus Petal. Cast Lotus Petal. Tap for red. Surge a Bushwhacker. I still don't think this is lethal, though. We draw a card. Another Lotus Petal. Attack with everything. Put our opponent to 5. Pass the turn and see if we are dead. We very well could just be dead here. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. We know they have become immense. There's Ink Moth. Here's the attack. Do they have the second pump spell? There's become immense. Alright, we take 7. We're not dead yet. Well, cast Lotus Petal. Alright, opponent dazes. Well, we pay for Daze. Add blue. Back. Cast a Kobold. Draw a card. And Seed of the Synod. Oh. Alright. Well, basically we need our opponent to whiff one more turn. Get in with both. Put our opponent to 1. Pass the turn. See if our opponent draws it. There's a land that they picked up with Daze. Inkmoth. Do they have the pump spell? That is the only question. Oh, come on. They do. They drew it. Wow. Alright, well, our opponent drew it the turn before we would have killed him. So close. Oh. As far as the sideboard, could bring in the Pact of Negations. Not sure what we go down exactly. That is more fizzling. Let's go up a Pact and go down a Beck Call. I don't know if that's right. If we're going to do that, maybe we just silence? That doesn't really help on turn 0, though. Yeah, we'll try it. Try 1 Pact. And let's try it like that. Alright, let's look and see what this hand looks like. Alright, this hand is really good, assuming our opponent doesn't force us. Opponent goes to 5, probably looking for force. We're a little mana heavy, but we got a glimpse, and we got the crop rotation, which is nice. So, Glimmer Void. Glimpse of Nature. Resolve. So now we just start playing zeros. Memnite draws us a card. Crookshank Kobolds draws us a card. Crookshank draws us a Memnite. Memnite draws us a Walker. Walker draws us a Kobold. Kobold draws us a Bushwhacker. Kobold draws us a Spirit Guide. Well, that's Lotus Petal. Is there any way we can play this Spirit Guide first? Not very easily. We have to crack this for green. Get a Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Cradle. Crack this for red, Spirit Guide, and then we aren't guaranteed to be able to Bushwhacker. We can't not Bushwhacker. So Lotus Petal, sack for red, sack for red, Surge a Bushwhacker, draw a card. Go with the big attack. Not lethal, but 11. Pass the turn. Misty Rainforest for our opponent. Cracks it. Gets a Savannah and Swords our Bushwhacker. That slows down our clock a bit. Now let's probe. See what we draw into. Glistener Elf, Invigorate, and Brainstorm. We get an Ornithopter. Now let's go attacking. If we draw more mana of other colors, we could maybe fuse a Bet Call. But for right now, I think we just do nothing. Opponent's down to 6. Plays a Tropical Island. And there's Glistener Elf. The other good news is we have a ton of blockers. There's a Bushwhacker. Well, Ornithopter. This might do it, actually. Ornithopter, then we exile the Spirit Guide and just Bushwhacker again. Opponent brainstorms, looking for a Daze or a Force. Daze or Force. Oh, and they don't find it. Whew! Alright, so turn 3. Not bad. Not bad. We're going to be on the draw this game, which is a little scarier. Means our opponent's Dazes will be live. Let's try it, though. Alright. Well, we got the nuts. The question is, can we resolve the nuts? Windswept Heath for our opponent. Cracks it. There's a Glistener Elf. The other good news is we get to probe to take a peek. And there's a Lotus Petal. So we can actually play around Daze. Let's probe. Oh! They don't have it. They have a turn 2 kill, but they don't have a counter. So we might be able to just win here. If we don't, we're going to be dead. Berserk, double Invigorate is like 18 Infect. Alright, so we draw a card. It's a Kobold. So, Glimmer Void and Glimpse of Nature. And let's start playing our zeros. Kobold, number 1. Our best draw would be a second Glimpse of Nature. Oh, we just drew it. So, Lotus Petal. Crack Lotus Petal for green. Wow! So now we're drawing 2 every one we cast, which hopefully means we get to draw our entire deck. Fizzling from here would be unfortunate. Well, let's go 3. 3 is even better. So now it's very likely we just win here. We got the got the turn 1 kill, I believe. I guess it might be impossible to fizzle from here, actually. Memnite, Kobold, Kobold. We want to cast things that have power first, if possible. Lotus Petal, I guess just another Kobold. We just got to make sure that we don't run out of cards before we can kill our opponent. Kobold. Or that we can cast... Oh, there's Haze of Rage. That'll definitely do it. Cast Mox Opal. Kobold. This might actually be record-setting. Let's cast an Ornithopter. Cast an Ornithopter. Down to 13 cards. Lotus Petal... Let's see. Exile for mana. Exile for mana. Exile for mana. Cast a Tinderwall. Sack it for red mana. Surge a Bushwhacker. Gives everything haste. And we got the good games. Surge a Bushwhacker. And our bow scoops it up. The deck actually works. I mean, we lose to Force of Will, but our turn 1 kill rate is actually pretty high. So we actually won a match. I mean, we didn't break the format, but Infect is a tier 1 deck, and we just Kobolded our way to the match win. Sweet.